The USSR has been gone for over 30 years now, yet the debates about whether it was worth dismantling it at all, they're still raging today. Some say, back then there was stability, order, and certainty about tomorrow. Others fire back. It was a prison of nations where freedom existed only on paper. But let's imagine something different. What if the USSR, or even earlier, the Russian Empire, had never fallen apart? What would the world look like today? What would Ukraine be like? And who would be ruling half the planet? But let's look even further back. The Russian Empire. Its last ruler was Nicholas II, a man history remembers as the Tsar who couldn't hold his state together. His reign ended in tragedy. He and his entire family were executed during the Second Revolution of 1917. But what if things had turned out differently? Imagine Nicholas II realized in time that the empire couldn't survive without change, that he agreed to reforms, gave the people more rights, and created a parliament like in Britain. No revolution, no Bolsheviks, no civil war, no Lenin. And then instead of the red flag over the Kremlin and the gulags, we'd see gold, coats of arms, and the Romanov crown still ruling to this day. It would have been a completely different era. By the late 1910s, the empire faced a stark choice. Move toward reforms or lose everything. Social tensions, defeats on the front lines, and an economic crisis were eroding trust in the throne. In the cities, factories were either idle or running at a bare minimum. Peasants demanded land reforms. Soldiers were demoralized after countless battles. The political elites were already looking for a compromise. Some of the nobility and officials spoke of the need for a constitution. Others insisted on a firm hand to maintain order. It was at this very juncture that the idea emerged, to carry out a gradual transformation without dismantling the state itself. Reforms, not revolution. This meant a constitutional restructuring of power, the creation of a parliament with real authority over budget and legislation, a land reform with compensation for the peasants, and industrial modernization through investments in foreign technologies. The key condition, preserving the monarchy, but with genuine accountability to the people. Without the empire's collapse, the world map would look entirely different. The Russian Empire would remain one of the most powerful superpowers, competing not with the United States, but with Britain. Preserving its resources and territories, the empire would have enormous economic potential. But under an authoritarian system, technological progress might have slowed down. Without Soviet reforms, there would be no mass education or industrialization. Most of the population would remain in poverty, under the control of the czarist elite. Without the USSR, there would be no Cold War. The United States would remain the sole technological superpower, and the world might have become unipolar much earlier. Imagine it's 2025, but we're not living in republics. We're in the Russian Empire. No internet, no freedom of speech, no elections. For liking a post against the Tsar, hard labor. The elite would live in gold, while we languished in misery. Thousands of serfs, minimal rights, no way to climb the ladder. A world where you're born poor and die poor. The internet, artificial intelligence, social media, all of it would be under imperial censorship. Phone calls tapped, every move tracked by the police. Perhaps without the empire's collapse, the world would seem stable. But the price would be human freedom. And maybe the fact that it fell apart isn't a tragedy, but a second chance for all of us. Imagine the world today, a colossal Russian empire stretching from the Baltic to the Far East. Vast resources, a formidable army, global influence, but all of it under the rule of a single dynasty, no democracy, no freedom. People live by the empire's rules. Some thrive, others just survive. History repeats itself. Power at the top, the people at the bottom. Freedom, a concept almost forgotten. History doesn't know the word what if, but asking what if helps us better understand the present. Would you want to live in a world like that? Drop it in the comments.